Get it all. It's premier. Get all of it.
You're cold out there.
That's right.
I spotted his head of hair.
Get all of it.
No, you're not.
Get it all. Not much. We're gonna get all of it. Put it on video.
We're gonna get it on video.
That's all right. We can
This is the only time of the year I sat on the front seat.
I might be close, but okay, probably all right.
Yeah, we did next night.
Well, this is a fiddle.
Looks like one.
And anything else you want to know?
Yeah. Shorty here, man, he's the one that's...
And Roy's going to do the guitar out of play.
Roger, who built the first fiddle?
My fiddle?
No, who built the first one?
I don't know, unless it's...
The very first one.
Who built the first one?
Very first one. Where
Casper de Salo
Where was this at?
and France.
France, okay.
I didn't.
The fiddle
Well, maybe it was Italy.
the fiddle come from Europe.
Well, Casper de Salo came up with this design,
Okay,
this shape,
okay,
and then Fred
okay,
came after that from Gandarius.
okay.
Now
Stradivarius.
that's the extent of my knowledge.
Okay, all right.
Don't ask me more of those art
Done
questions.
emptied you up, all right.
That's a W.
Well, yeah, quit right in. Right in. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's good to see you.
It's my pleasure, son. Haven't seen you since we was in Idaho.
I know, that's a long time. I don't know if we will demonstrate.
Oh, you gonna demonstrate? Well, then I might not need to be here.
No, you're gonna.
Everything you do, I'm gonna do backwards anyway.
And we'll ask, if you have questions. If they're difficult, Roger will.
Oh.
If they're
Shorty
easy,
knows he's back and fair.
if they're easy, then I'll take it.
Yeah. He's a man, yeah. There's no telling how many of these you've done, is there?
Well.
I was watching you and John Hartford and some of them on YouTube just the other day.
You were?
Yeah.
I won't know this a little bit. There's hardly anything you can't find on YouTube.
That's right.
I was watching the news this morning, this one old guy, this newscaster, I said, boy, he's tall. I wonder how tall he is, and went on the internet, there he was.
Oh, yeah.
What's the old, David Gregory, 6'5". Well, let's play a tune just to kind of break the ice. You pick one, Rat, Roger.
I'll pick the easy one.
Pick one.
What about ragtime anyway?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. You want to start it?
No, you go.
Okay,
ahead.
I'll.
You know what it is now?
What?
Shaving and haircuts have gone up.
Yeah.
Well, and I have to play a little different styles, and but I started when I was. I started playing the fiddle. Started playing the mandolin when I was 7, and then I switched over to the fiddle when I was about 13. And when I was, I believe I was 18, I came up here and played on the square, on the courthouse stage.
Yes. 'Cause I think I was 15.
Me and my daddy came up here for that, and so that was, we met a lot of, probably had made a lot of good friends up here. But anyway, the fellow I learned from mostly in Texas was a fellow named Benny Thomason. And Benny had a little different, he played a lot slower, and he played kind of less of a dancing style. Of course, if you go to the eastern coast, and like square dancing, the fiddling was associated with dancing mostly, and when it started. And then when a fellow named Eck Robertson, which some of you have heard his playing, but I met him when I was a kid, and he had this style, more of a less emphasis on the rhythm and more emphasis on kind of the melody. And then Benny, the fellow I learned from, played a lot, even slower than Eck. But the way Benny, I would differentiate his playing from a lot of the old timers was, well, you take an old tune like Old Joe Clark. And Benny kind of embellished the melody line so that to make the tunes a little less repetitious and make them a little more entertaining to the audience that they weren't dancing, they were just listening. So he might take notes, and my illustration is the old, when I was a kid, we'd have those, especially in church, in our Sunday school books, you'd have those dot-to-dot pictures. And you would go from 1 to 2, and you keep connecting all those dots, and then you'd end up, oh, wow, that's a picture. So what Benny did was add a lot of dots, so that instead of having 1, 2, he would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that maybe a more modern phrase is pixels in these new cameras, digital cameras. And the more pixels you have, the more definition you have in the picture. So what I did on that tune, so there's the basic melody line, and what Benny would do, so all he was doing was kind of presenting more definition to the picture. And it really is a musical picture, but that's how I learned. And then we were talking before we were talking about how you learn by the ear. And at some point I was going to make there, but I forgot what it was. So share with us, if you would, Roger, some of your
Well, what inspired me, we would have dances, they call them, I think they call them pickings now. We
Yeah.
moved, really didn't have furniture, we had them benches, tables sit on, that we'd move them outside and have square dances in the house, and there was an old time fiddle player, Billy thinks I'm making this up, but he'd come, his name was Lee Skidmore. I guess that's why I got my shirt sleeve, but he wore an old cotton flannel shirt, played, that's where and my dad played, but my dad, he'd just start right, say ragtime Annie, he'd just start right into it without the shuffle or the little intro, he'd just go, you know, right, and Lee, I know that he'd always, you know, did something to, I think, kind of set the time.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
And I thought, man, if I could just, I mean, he'd play in them sleeves, he'd work, like I say, cotton flannel shirt, that'd just be a flopping. Dancing that old house, you know, just shaking, and it's no lie, like just going up, like I had old plank floors, and I thought, if I could ever learn to do that. And I loved that kind of fiddling, and he was talking about Benny, when you listen to the Grand Ole Opry in the late 50s, early 60s, about the only ones you heard was Chubby Wise, Tommy Jackson, maybe Howdy Foster. Now, he played more of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he did. He sure did.
But Tommy, you know, was real, I think, real traditional, simple, played it real straight, didn't he?
He did, but he played with a lot of, well, we were talking a while ago about the soul of music, you know, and he played with a lot of soul in his playing, and I love Tom Jackson's playing, but he did play with a lot of rhythm, because a lot of people use those for the square dance calls, you know, but
I'll have to tell this, you know, Tom Jackson, I played Sally Gooden. And then I heard they had Texas Shorty's little 45 down in Milburn. Had it on a jukebox. And when he played it, you know, the position way, that still hurt me too, way down like that. And I thought, I've got to have that record. And I'd play it over and over and over. And finally, you know, people was eating in there. And I mean, as good as it was, they get tired of hearing it 12 times. So they're all playing it off the jukebox. I still got it. I'll bring something out there. And had that on one side, Beaumont Drag on the other. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yep. It was on a little 45.
I met a friend of mine out in
That's
West
a treasure
Texas
of mine.
was, he said he was a cowboy out there on the ranch, and he told Ruthie and I that he loved going to those 45s and some of the old cafes he went to eat at. He told that woman, now when that guy takes that record off that jukebox, I want it. So she, sure enough, she gave it to him, he laid it up on the dash, went to work, he came back, it was all curled up. I think I sent him a new one.
But that's my favorite version of Beaumont Drag.
Well,
Sounded good.
yeah, well, thank you.
And anyway, and that's where and that just kind of playing, of course, Tommy done a lot of backup for Ray Price.
Oh, yeah.
Playing that style fiddle, but as far as the old hoedown,
giant.
yeah, he had
And
a lot
that
of
backup
influence.
music.
Chubby, I liked him pretty good too.
Chubby was good, and he played with, didn't he play a lot with Hank Snow? And,
Bill, son with Bill.
Yeah, so, yeah, there's, you know, hundreds, thousands of great players that you never hear about. But in fact, Benny Thompson, the guy that I learned from, only became probably world known now, but a big part of that was Mark O'Connor, because he always gave Benny credit for helping, you know, getting him started on that fiddling. So do y'all have any questions that would make you improve your playing? I assume everybody here is a musician, so any one thing that I could tell you that would make you sound like Yehudi Menuhin or somebody?
What would you recommend for learning to play harmony part?
Oh, I would recommend learning a lot about chords, because that's really what harmony is. And I'm not. I would encourage you to listen to Stuart Duncan and well, Buddy Spiker's still around, but he's a fabulous harmony player. But And, you know, it's just like those old gospel songs you sung in church. Soprano, alto, tenor, bass. But now in the bluegrass, they go high harmony or low harmony, I guess, mostly now. But I'm really still trying to work on my
That's
harmony.
me, that's my name.
But if you learn about chords, like there's a G note, and then the harmony, the chord, G chord would be. So that's a B note and a G note together. And then the harmony part, you want to play something, and maybe I'll try it.
Faded Love is easy.
Faded Love, maybe I
Okay.
can try that.
It's a D.
So that first note was an A, and I made, and that's an E, so he made a. So you're looking for a note that's either I guess in the bluegrass way of looking at it, it's a low harmony or a high harmony, but I was doing a high harmony. I could be doing that, the low harmony. But really you're trying to make a note of the chords. Now some of the great harmony players can actually play two notes, two harmony notes. But I love harmony playing, and I'm not very good at it. But
That's me, I mean.
it's just, and I always admire people that can sing. You know, they can sing tenor. I've heard that like Alison Krauss can sing. She can sing perfect harmony. So, and I hear her on a lot of records. So, what's your comments on harmony? Anything else?
Well, I'm like you, I played and I always asked to get somebody that played harmony. And I never did it because most time I played this single.
Well, me too.
But,
Me too.
Little low harmony, you know, like the low, but I didn't.
You need to really use that though. You need to have it when you're playing with vocals, vocalists, because it really adds a lot to the background when you're singing a song. When someone's singing a song, and you can add some harmony notes along to do fills. So that would be my suggestion. Just try to learn chords. And I learned that on the mandolin. I think it helped me play when I went to the fiddle because Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight. Come out tonight. So thinking that there's my harmony note. So, sorry, you asked for the time and I built you a watch. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
This is relative to the contest, but I'm not playing in the contest.
Okay.
Can you explain the difference between Ozark Old Time and Texas Swing? And when you're judging, how are you discerning the difference if it's an Ozark Old Time fiddle contest?
Well, now the Texas Swing, and you know, let me kind of frame this from the judge's standpoint. I think in judging the contest, I would be listening more to the elements of your performance, not necessarily what style you play. So the elements to the performance would be that are you keeping time? Are you executing your notes properly? Whatever style you're playing, if you're flubbing your notes, that's going to be a distraction or kind of a demerit. Are your notes are they pretty? I mean, you're making a pretty sound. And then is your bow armed? Of course, we won't be watching you because we'll be hidden back in the room. But so I think that would be my answer, is that it's not so much. Well, that's not really an answer to your question. You said, ask, what's the distinction?
What's the distinction?
Distinction. Well, now, I believe you might be able to
We was talking a while ago a little bit. I play Ozark style.
yeah, and it's more of a rhythmic sound. But Roger, if I were judging Roger, I'd be listening to more how his performance is rather than the style. But the style of the Arkansas style or Roger style compared to the way I play is just, I've been playing, slower probably, and
a lot more notes to it.
yeah, not as loud. I don't play very loud anymore. So yeah, there are distinct styles, but I don't think that would be the factor that would either make you win or lose in the contest. It would be how you perform.
Okay, so really that's not a deterrent if somebody chooses to play Texas Swing style.
No. Now Texas Swing, in my own description of that, would be kind of the Bob Wills swing music. Take Me Back to Tulsa, San Antonio Rose, the kind that's really not, that's not what we call old time fiddle music. That is, it's great music. It is now old time in its own sense because it started in the 40s. But it's different from old time fiddling. You won't hear Bob Wills, even though he started off as an old time fiddler. He moved to more vocals and the big band, the band sound. So the old time fiddling that we will be judging probably tonight and tomorrow will be the old tunes, Sally Gooden, Polly Put the Kettle On, Sally Johnson, old Joe Clark. The old, really, I mean, these are like 100 years old tunes. So if you play a Texas swing tune, I would recommend you use that as one of your tune of choice. So I think, I can't remember now how we do it, but I think frequently you'll have waltz. They'll ask you to play a waltz, and they'll ask you to play an old time fiddle tune, and then maybe you can have a tune of your choice. So that would be, you could use a Texas swing tune as a tune of choice, but you would not use all swing tunes for the contest because that would, I think that would detract from your score.
I think you hit it there. I've heard of something, this there, if you just play, Ozark style, there's no need to get in the contest because they look for Texas fiddle. But what you said is looking for good notes,
Yeah,
good tone.
Well, and Tommy Jackson didn't play like Benny Thompson,
Right.
but Tommy Jackson was a superb player, and he played with heart, and he played with, you know, a lot of skill, and so now you can't. We had, when I used to go to that Nashville contest years ago, and we had a lot of Canadian fiddlers come down, and of course they had a totally different style. But they won the contest sometimes because we're looking at how your performance is rather than your particular style. The distinction I did make though about Texas swing is that you do have to kind of stay in the genre, you know, of the old time fiddle music. Did that help or?
It did, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I probably confused you more than I did. Yes, ma'am.
So what are you considering Ozark style?
Considering what now?
Ozark,
Ozark.
what is that?
Well, I think, well, you comment on that, Rod.
Well, to me, that's real traditional. A lot of them don't add a whole lot of extra legs or nothing, and it's just a good straight, just kind of right in the face all the time. It's or a while ago, if you could tell it. Wonder if we could play something kind of different.
Yeah, you play something and your Arkansas style.
Soldier's Joy, you want to try that?
Yeah.
Would that be good?
No, told you not.
Okay, I'll just play a little of it.
So, well, that's an example, I think. I think it is going to be faster, a little more peppy and lively. And then mine's going to be more kind of laid back and lazy.
You had about 3 notes to my one, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no value judgment. It's just that it's different, and each one of them, the way you perform it, will be the way you'll come out in the contest. Because I've seen players that were great players in the Arkansas style, and then their overall performance would just be better than somebody that played Texas style. So that's what you're up against in a contest.
You know, I've noticed a difference between like Sally Johnson and Katie Hill, which is the same tune really.
Pretty much, yeah.
But they play to do different styles of dancing.
Yeah.
You know, Katie Hill is real square dancing and jig dancing, and Sally Johnson was a two-step kind of.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Would you agree with me though, Shorty, most of the big contests, they do lean toward the Texas style?
Well, probably.
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily agreeing that that's a good thing. But what has happened is that, you set a trend and then you kind of continue to follow along, and that becomes, that's what's good. Well, that's not the way I look at it. But like I say, Mark O'Connor, when he was a kid, he competing in contests and he started recording, and so all the young people started, mimicking him. So he got his from Benny, his style. So that's kind of why I think that's kind of spread, because his popularity as a fiddler has influenced a lot of the young people. So the old the dance style, more that it's kind of becoming. You won't hear that as much in the contest. You're right, Roger. So
I've been guilty, and without mentioning names, and Billy knows that when, of course, when I'm doing fiddle lessons, it's my, and I tell them if they want, get in a big contest and do well, that they need to learn the Texas style, and they do. And then I think, how did they get, they quit? And I'm serious, and I told them, I said, get you some of the Texas Shorty, get him on YouTube, but it's hard. You probably got CDs and tapes now.
well, yeah.
I'm used to the old records and albums.
Yeah.
And I said, them guys has been and won a million contests if you really want them, and that's what I did. I told them that.
Well, and the old time fiddling, the kind of the platform for fiddling is contest. It's unfortunately it's not like bluegrass where you have festivals and you have entertainers or group, or it's just it seemed like the fiddle contest is about the only forum for fiddlers.
Right.
So that's why people are more tend to, the young people especially, keep trying to win those contests. But maybe that'll change eventually. We'll have more just contests for, more plans just for entertainment.
I got when I was a kid, I got a record players, $25 from Sears, and you could stack records on it one at a time. And one of mine, I know this music's a little too new to play here, but I love Gray Price. And his greatest hits like City Lights, Heartaches for the Number, all them old songs. And I wore that thing out, and that got me more VFW jobs than any. I just hit one level to show you, but I know this is 59, so it's way after 1941. But it's an A, and it just turned out around D, and I'll just give them a little. And I said,
4:30.
goes up to E. Turn it up into E to kick off. That's enough. Now that was what he was talking about a while ago, following a song, and I may have been hitting hard, I don't know.
Yeah, you had some trouble in it.
But that was another style I learned to do, and then you'd think Tommy would have been texting and turned around and played a bowl of cabbage or a whole deal.
Yes, exactly. Well, I don't know, they don't try to play one more, and then I don't know how long this workshop's supposed to last, do you know? They dimmed the lights, they haven't brought the hook out.
Oh, they did.
Okay.
You pick out pretty and Shorty, I've been doing, and just
Well,
knowing all this
let's
stuff.
play, you don't play a walk.
Yeah, we hadn't done a long.
What sounds like?
Texas Shorty,
Yes, ma'am.
Texas Donna, the last time I saw you in Weezer, you played my favorite waltz, festival waltz.
Oh, the festival waltz.
Play that, I don't know it, but I'll just kind of, play that, and I'm not sure that.
Roy, you'll have to back him on this. I may not know the chord.
Roy, I can't even remember how it goes. Can you tell me? I'm sorry, I haven't gotten to 70 yet, but I'm getting there.
How about Rosa David?
I'll have to remember that play for you later. Sorry. How about maybe Over the Way?
Okay, I
Or
do know
Kentucky
that.
Waltz.
Either one of them will be fine.
In G. unless you have other questions, we can handle it for you. All right, well, it's been a pleasure being with you. And we'll see you here tonight for the Old Town Division of the Fiddle Contest. Good evening. Okay.